We're living in this fractured world, and there's still beauty to be found amidst the brokenness. I make these large-scale works in nature that can only be seen from above, from my drone. My name's Albert Popa. I'm an artist that was born and raised in New York City, but I'm currently living in Finland. I'm an artist, but more than that, I would define myself as an adventurer, an explorer. As a kid, I just absolutely fell in love with the great outdoors, besides the fact that I was living in New York City. And so just absolutely loved sports and just being active. And so I try to combine all of my loves of filmmaking, photography, and just being in the great outdoors into this sort of one genre that I do now. Of course, I had been doing a lot of these large-scale murals on rocks, on sand, on different surfaces, but the ice was one of those elements that would just be amazing to work on just because of also the aesthetics of it. From above, it just looks incredible from a drone. And living in Finland, the Gulf of Finland will freeze over almost every year, and people will walk on the ice. And it was on my mind for a couple of years, and only this past winter that I actually end up finally starting a series on the ice. So I initially chose the ice as a canvas mainly because of the difficulty. I actually was just enamored by the idea of trying to pull off a piece, and I knew it would be extremely difficult. And so the challenge is what made me attracted to it initially, and of course just the beauty of being on the ice, and aesthetically from above it looks just gorgeous. And so it's very difficult for so many reasons. The main one is the fact that it will literally, these ice flows will break on me while I'm working on the piece. The next difficult part is the fact that the pigment that I'll use to create the work will sink in and disappear while I'm working on it. And then the fact that I use sprayers and they'll freeze over if I don't have just the right balance of salt, and if the temperature is too cold, they'll still freeze. And so all these combined make it just really difficult. Of course, and the obvious, I'm freezing when I'm working on it. Ephemeral art, there's two answers to this. The first one is the fact that I use pigments such as chalk, charcoal, and natural earth ochres in order to do my work, and I mix it only with water. Essentially, there's no binder in it, there's no glue, and so the work inevitably washes away. And the second part to ephemeral art is sort of maybe the more deeper symbolic nature of the fact that the work is here one day and gone the next. It's sort of the, I would say, the mysteries of the world that we lived in, our lived reality. It's sort of the same tension. We have these incredible moments, memories, loved ones that are here one day and then gone the next. And so what do we do with this tension, this mystery of life, the sort of miracle of life, these sort of bigger existential questions? And so ephemeral art has a lot to do with the beauty and fact that the work doesn't last. The process of actually creating one of these ephemeral earth murals in nature is I'll go to the location, and I usually do not know what I'm going to end up painting, which makes everything even more difficult, especially on the ice. The formations are just different almost every day. And so I'll get to the location, I'll initially photograph different areas that I think could have a work of art on it. And then if there's a location that is really speaking to me and I think that there's potential, I'll bring it into my phone, and I have different photo references on my phone that I've already, I have sort of a bank or a library of these different, in this case, introspective portraits that I think could go well on the ice. And I just try to unearth, really, the one that fits the location the best. And that has to do with even looking at the different parts in which it's cracking, maybe even guessing where the ice could crack so that if it does, it's going to make even a more dramatic piece. And so then at that point, when I know that the location is great, I will actually place marks onto the ice. And this will act as reference points so that when I take another photo, I will then Photoshop the portrait onto the surface, and I'll know where I am in space. And that's how I pull off such large-scale works. It actually takes a very short amount of time to create the piece, and it has to be created quickly because the ice is fracturing and the pigment is sinking in to the ice and basically disappearing while I'm working on it. And so I actually have to pull it off from anywhere between 3 to 5 hours. All the pieces that I've done so far on the ice have taken me 3 to 5 hours. People's reactions have been really varied. It's actually really quite funny. One of the main ones is many people think I'm like risking my life, and the reality is that I'm wearing a full dry suit, and so I'm actually in and out of the water sort of constantly. In some areas I actually have to swim a bit to even get to some of these ice flows, and so people think it's rather quite dangerous, but the reality is not too dangerous because I'm wearing a lot of appropriate gear. And other people's reactions, it's been really nice that people have been actually touched by the work, and that's sort of the goal with the work, is not just to appear that I'm doing something really cool and adventurous, but the fact that people are getting the tension there, that we're living in this fractured world and there's still beauty to be found amidst the brokenness. So the plan moving forward is just to continue this this body of work on the ice, off the ice. At this point in time, it's been pretty amazing that I'm able to do this full time as an artist, as a creator. And so I think the next series I'm going to be incorporating potentially more animal themed subjects, which I'm really excited about. The things that move and inspire me today are the same things that move and inspire me when I was just a kid. And that started with just falling in love with different films, crawling in the corner and listening to amazing film soundtracks. And what begins to happen is just these worlds and stories start to unfold. And as an adult, as a grown-up, my sort of life's journey or adventure is to create those into these physical manifestations. And I would have never thought that it would bring me to making these large works in nature. But if ever I'm feeling a lack of inspiration, I'll look back to the things that excited me as a kid, and part of that is having a family and having 2 kids of my own, and seeing the way my kids play, and these sort of in-between moments of life. All of a sudden there'd just be a surge of inspiration or ideas, and those sort of miraculous moments are really special and really mysterious, and it's sort of kind of what I live for.